Day 46, going strong. I had a great day yesterday. It was awesome. But that today I would like to tell the story briefly about where it all started and how it all started. Um, this is probably most difficult things that's ever happened in my life, and so talking about it on YouTube and so openly public is not something that I've ever done. My closest friends know, but even most of my family doesn't know this, so it's really intense for me. Um, but basically, the first time I ever tried meth was when I was 16, and um, I don't even really remember how I met the person who introduced it to me, but he was this older guy, and I was 16. I had family visiting from Houston, my mom's cousins and her kids, and my father was uh, playing in a golf tournament. He was an avid golfer. He loved golfing. It was his thing, and at that time in my life, me and my father butted heads a lot. Mainly because we were pretty much the same person, but he had a lot of high expectations for me, and at the time I wasn't really achieving those expectations, and I was rebelling, and I was already openly gay. He didn't really seem to have a major problem with that, but we didn't talk about it. Um, well, I went out one afternoon and I tried meth for the first time. And I was, when you try anything for the first time, it's pretty intense. I actually smoked it. And that evening, I came back home and we were having spaghetti. The whole family, my mom's cousins, her kids, my grandparents, and my mom and dad and sister were all at the table, and I was sitting next to my father, and I remember trying so hard to not seem like something was off, and I couldn't eat. I was not hungry at all. After dinner, I pretty much went straight to my room. My dad had to be at the golf course that next morning really early, and we were all going to go out that afternoon towards when he was finished, to kind of see him, I guess, hit his last couple holes. I stayed up all night that night. I couldn't go to sleep, obviously, natural reaction to the drug. And around 11 o'clock, I finally did wake up, to my mom rushing out of the house. And I wasn't really sure what was going on. And about 30 minutes later, my mom's cousin was like, "We need to go to the hospital. There's some things going on with your dad." And so we all got in the car, and I just knew something was wrong. And we got to the ER, and you know, a nurse came up to me and my sister specifically. My sister was 13 at the time, and she took us away from everyone else, and I knew immediately right then something was very bad. And as soon as she took me to this little nice room off of the ER where my mom was sitting crying, I knew my dad was dead. And it didn't really hit me at the time, but it was only a couple of days before all I could think about was the last time I ever saw my dad. I was high on meth. And I still think about that all the time. Sorry for the dogs. I went to go live the rest of my life feeling this terrible shame, and I think that it's the reason that even the day before the funeral, I hit up that same friend and I went and got high again, and it just kind of spiraled from there. I mean, by the time my dad had been dead for a year, I'd been using, at that point, almost up to every day. Going to school without any sleep all the time. And eventually I got really, really sick from being malnourished. I got strep. The strep like spread throughout my body. And that's when I quit. Prior to that, it was Thanksgiving, and my dad's family came to visit for the first time since he'd been gone, and everyone was eating Thanksgiving dinner, and I was just sitting in my room on my little love seat, smoking away, and I realized that that was terrible, and I had to quit. And I quit, and I did do it again for years. It wasn't until I split with an ex-boyfriend that I had. His name was Gilbert, and I was very in love with him, and it was a difficult breakup for me, and that's when I started using again, very lightly, once every couple of weeks. But after that, I moved to Houston and for work, and I just fell off then. I mean, it's pretty much been constant since then, and that was in 2016. So 2 solid years, and I'm just glad it's over. But that's how it all started, and I'm amazed I was able to tell that story without crying. Probably because I didn't go into major detail. But thanks for listening.